Oh my goodness, don't hurt yourself. Oh my goodness.
All right, we're here.
Wow.
So,
Now you're ready to fight. Town meeting's over. We needed this a week ago.
everything passed. It worked out great.
Wow.
I'll be
It was
right
Marty's
back.
idea.
Yeah. Well, that was worth the wait. Hopefully that came across at home.
Yes. We didn't zoom in.
Oh, well. We can only do so much.
Very funny. I'm disappointed they're not sitting through the meeting that way.
Are they coming back is my question.
I
Is
think
that
so.
it? I guess we had a quorum. We can move on.
Maybe that was just the meeting right there.
I thought they were going to stay at the meeting in
Yeah.
those costumes. That would be great. We could have used that at some other meetings.
Yes.
The boxing gloves.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's great.
And the sweatbands.
So you can tell they're very sad to be rolling off the select board. And now we wait for the costume change. That's a full change.
Yeah.
Wow. Well done. Well done. Best
Going
last
out in
entrance.
style.
Yeah.
Yes.
That might be unprecedented. I'm not sure we've had entrances like that. All right.
Okay.
So let's get rolling. So welcome to the Select Board meeting of Tuesday, May 26, 2026. This is the final meeting of this Select Board session with elections set for Monday. So,
Tuesday.
is it Tuesday?
Yeah.
It's Tuesday. Sorry,
Yeah.
get my dates mixed up. So please tell your friends and neighbors to go out and vote, both for the elected positions and for
Can
the
you vote, or
articles.
is there early voting, do you know?
Yes, there is.
Yep.
Oh, good.
Right now, you could show up
Good. I'm
Great.
and vote. Yep.
Let me quickly run through the agenda. We're going to start with community inputs, then appointments, review of a few committee charters. Then we're going to get the FY25 financial statement audit exit conference with CBIZ. We're going to have an initial discussion about the potential for a special town meeting, if you can believe that. Then we're going to discuss the intermunicipal agreement with the town of Lincoln for shared building commissioner services. 825, item 6, we're going to review edits to the personnel policies and hopefully vote on some or all of those. And then also revisit the code of conduct that we discussed at the last meeting and hopefully vote on that. Then we're going to do a review of the Gleason Public Library renovation project financing and donation acceptance, review of warrants and minutes, liaison reports, community input, and then adjournment. And then I'm expecting a big exit
Finale?
too, yeah. So with that, let's do a roll call vote. Travis will not be attending tonight, but let's do a roll call just for old time's sake.
Arnold here?
Modell here.
Stevens here.
Triola here. All right.
Christina has her hand up, I'm not sure why.
Christina, do you, well, let me just open up community input. So let's begin with community input. I see you're both here for the Trails Committee, correct? So people online with a comment, Christina, I see your hand up, so if you want to go ahead.
Hi, thank you. Yes, I was a little ahead of the game.
Yep.
Christina Crucitolopoulos, Hemlock Hill Road. I actually have two comments regarding the code of conduct, and I don't know if you'd prefer me to give them now or to wait when you're discussing that. Either way's fine.
Why don't we do that when we discuss it? I'll just make a note to acknowledge you there, and we can
Thank
get those
you.
comments. Thank
Thanks.
you. And then, yep, John.
So I just want to, first
Just
of all, thank
say your name,
you all.
please. Sorry.
John Valentine, 268 Fisk Street. And I just want to thank you all for all the work that was necessary to pull off last week's town meeting. And I know you and Finance Committee worked very hard on it. And the other thing that I did was I went back and looked at the 2009 FinCom letter that actually Dave Modell wrote, which basically, this was just after the school project had been approved, outlined all the challenges that were ahead. And I guess the comment I have is, I think, and I mentioned this to Barney today, is that town meeting is a chance to communicate to the town the longer term challenges, which you are very aware of, of what we're facing with the new building projects and taxes. And I just think, and I know Wayne tries to kind of make sure we kind of get through the warrant and everything else, but somehow taking the time and that you as the select board can say, yes, we know what these are and we know what these challenges are, we're addressing it. And then, and again, Dave can remember what he went through in 2009 when he was on the FinCom. I just think that's a very helpful moment when we're at town meeting and say, hey, this is a big deal, what we're doing and what we're passing is a big deal, and we're going to wrestle with these issues in the future. And so maybe we'll have a sort of a debrief with Wayne of town meeting and with the new select board of how things go forward.
Well, we do have, I will mention that
Thank you.
we're meeting Thursday to wrap up our final reports, so in the new session.
There will be a debrief session, most likely.
Schedule a debrief, yeah.
I think it's going to be June 23rd. We've already had
Okay.
conversations, because I know Wayne's not available on the 9th, so.
Okay, I'm not available on the 9th either.
That is.
You're not on the 23rd either, are you?
You're
What's
not
that?
on the board anymore.
I know, but I would present as part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you were going also, I thought, 23rd. Are
I
you
might be able to call into that one.
From Vietnam,
No,
Philippines?
they do have internet.
But
Great.
anyway, thank you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you. I actually wanted to make a few points under community input myself. So Scott Triola, 109 Hart Farm. I wanted to acknowledge at this meeting, one, just in terms of where we are in the year, and just comment on town meeting, which I thought was very successful. We saw all articles pass, and I think that's really a testament to the quality of work that was done by the town volunteers and town staff to bring those articles to the town floor, to explain them. A lot of work goes into them. What's presented at town meeting is the final product of countless hours of volunteer and staff coordination. And, we often say we approve all these things and we don't deliberate them much, but there is a lot of deliberation, and a lot of that deliberation happens ahead of time. So I just wanted to thank everyone involved in all the various articles for all the work they did. And I think the results at town meeting kind of show that the town appreciates and has confidence in the processes.
I agree.
I also wanted to acknowledge yesterday's Memorial Day ceremony, which was very well attended and was meaningful as always. It was a real pleasure to have Scott Evans recognized. And overall, for those who haven't attended that, I think if you attend one, you'll see why it's a special event, and it really is meaningful, and it means a lot to the veterans and to the families. And I think overall for our community, it's a really, really positive event. So thank you to the Veterans and Celebrations Committee for pulling that together, and then all the volunteers who were involved in that. And then looking at, that's this week, and then on Saturday is the high school graduation. Both Christine and I have daughters who are graduating. So I just wanted to extend a congratulations to all the high school seniors and the families who have kind of come to the end of this process. I've had kids in schools for 15 years, and this marks the end of that. So
My son is also graduating
Yep.
Saturday.
Oh,
that's another one. So
End
we
of
have
an era.
end of an
Your
era.
daughter's picture was, she's an amazing looking. I remember her when she was just a little.
They grow up. But, again, we talk about budgets and things, but when you see what this class is accomplishing, it's really impressive for both communities. So I wanted to extend congratulations to them. And then obviously, this is something we'll touch on a little later in the evening, but this will be the last select board meeting of David Modell and Barney Arnold. If you didn't get the sense from the entrance, they're going out fighting. But we will acknowledge that this evening. In fact, right on cue. Why don't we just proceed with that? So, again, this is the last select board meeting for David and Barney. Both of them are among, if not the most generous and impactful contributors to our community. I mean, when I came into town in 2011, I got involved. David, you were already well involved. I think you were on the school committee at that point. You had already served on FinCom.
Right.
You had to serve on select board. So you've been engaged since
Yeah.
I've been here for
21
15 years.
Yeah, 21 years. Yeah.
Barney, you were teaching kindergarten when my daughters came in.
Yep.
And
And I
I,
was on CCF before that.
Yup.
Long
and I
time.
remember like doing lunch duty and all the, getting the recycle, all that stuff. And just,
Yes.
I knew you through the school community first, and it's been a real pleasure to work alongside of you on the select board. And as vice chair, getting the benefit of all of your knowledge and history and perspective. It brings so much to me. It's brought so much value to the select board. I've said it before. There's no way we can replace both of you. The depth of your experience and the institutional knowledge you both have is really, I think, unprecedented. So,
Thank you.
David, I know you've already volunteered to remain involved in different capacities, and Barney, I'm sure you will remain engaged and involved, even though it
Absolutely,
might
and
be on
happy
the
to
other
be
side of the border.
Called
But
on anytime.
we know where to find you. But on behalf of myself and the select board, I wanted to extend my thanks. Travis, who can't be here tonight, wanted to send along his comments. He wanted me to thank you for their extensive service. And he says you've been exemplary members of the select board and at various times mentored him in how to think through difficult decisions and work together to ensure that government functions in a way that all residents can be proud of. That you're thoughtful, good citizens, and he's grateful for your service and your thoughtful approach. And so he sends his well wishes. And if we want to invite up Representative Cataldo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I was actually a little nervous to come here tonight because, like, what do you say about two people who have just done so much for a town? And you said it so well, Scott. And I think the way that what you two represent in terms of an educator and a businessman and exemplifying what two people can contribute to a community, I thought, the main point that I wanted to make that may be less than obvious, even for people who know you and have worked very closely with you, is how hard it is to be a rural municipality right now. In particular, in the last 5 years during this inflationary period, and the way that this town has been run under your leadership is just incredible. The state that this town is in right now is a completely unlike, not to a difference of kind, not a difference of degree, than the communities that my colleagues are representing in the existential challenges that they're going through, these communities similar to Carlisle. That is not happening here in that way because of the leadership and because of your stewardship. So I wanted to make sure that that was on the record. And there's many different facets of what's gone into that. Obviously, careful attention to finances, making sure you're listening to the community, making sure you know what's coming ahead, making sure that you're prioritizing. And all that has happened. You have also brought in incredibly talented people to work at the town of Carlisle. And to be able to attract that level of talent at a time where it's hard to get really great municipal employees is something that's just squarely on the select board and its leadership. And then lastly, we're here at a time where it's really hard to get people to dedicate their time as volunteers in town government. And you two have done such a wonderful job, but I think you deserve a lot of credit for the degree of talent and aptitude and dedication that has come and to fill these roles since you've been on the select board with the three members that you now share this board. And you had to fill Kate Reed's seat. And now you've got more people running for the select board than number of seats, even with two being open. In a small town like this, this is really rare. It's really rare. And I think it is squarely due to your leadership. So you've been friends and mentors to me. I'm very grateful to that. And, I know I share in that with so many people who are in the community and work in the community. And so it's really an honor to present these legislative citations. I feel like I always come here to do like a sad legislative citation. First Kate and now you two. here, I'll stand to do this, a little more formal. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Barney Arnold and Dave Modell. Well, actually, they're a little bit different. For your dedication as currently the vice chair of the Carlisle
It
Select
just
Board.
quickly added, and amazing costumes.
Yeah, missed their entrance.
So
Yes.
I'm so honored to present these legislative citations. to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Let's do a photo.
Thanks.
All right, here, so this is yours.
All right,
Come.
should we go
Sit-
into
well,
the
sit
seal?
on the
Or, yeah, in
We'll
front
go
of the
down.
seal.
That would be better.
Either side
Christine and
of,
Scott, you wanna get in?
Well, why don't you
here
do
too?
one?
Do one or just the three of you?
Okay.
Yeah, then we'll come in.
Okay, there we go.
sign it
Sign it in the
middle.
middle, yeah, absolutely. No problem.
No, I am definitely not in the middle.
No, you're in the middle of this
All right, fine, on this one.
Listen to,
There
listen
you
to
go.
All right.
one. All right.
All right, first silence. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Okay, one more.
Oh,
Put my phone
1, 2, 3. Okay.
there.
Should we all get in there for one?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can be Travis's stand-in.
There
There we
we
go.
I could be Travis.
No,
today, right?
Yeah, no one will notice.
All right, 1, 2, 3. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Great.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you so much for letting
Thank
me.
you very much.
Thank you, Simon. I appreciate you coming. Congratulations on getting on the ballot. I just read that
Thank you.
yesterday.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, wait.
We got you these little,
Oh, wow, look at that. Isn't that awesome?
these little remembrances
Wonderful,
for
yeah.
little wood engravings, laser engravings.
Yeah, oh,
Wow.
thank you.
It's very nice.
That's really nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Well,
for all
I
your service.
just
Yeah.
quickly, I just want to
Did I
say
take
for,
your chair?
yeah, I guess you did, or I took my
No,
own
you
chair.
took your own
Or
chair.
David took it.
Oh, I took it? No.
You can remain standing the rest of the.
Um, I just want to say for me personally, it's just been a really rewarding experience. And sure, there are a few things I'll remember that weren't so rewarding, but honestly, just a wonderful opportunity for me to give something back to this town that, I love so much. I've been here a long time, but also working with both really talented elected officials, but also the staff, as you
Yeah.
mentioned, Simon. I mean, we just have a top-notch staff that has been just a pleasure to bring in and see, how the inside of Town Hall works, which a lot of people don't really see, but that's huge. And then, of course, just being able to help our town.
Yeah.
It's been a terrific experience for me and, very, very important at this stage of my life. So
Yeah.
I thank everyone.
Yeah, me too. To just reflect on Simon's comments, I'd say, yeah, first of all, and I've done it in my business too, just hire people smarter than you, hire good people, kind of give them the room to work. And certainly starting with Ryan and then the people he's brought, like Aubrey, it's just been, fantastic and transformative. I got involved in small town government probably for similar reasons that Simon did, although he's at a higher level now. But you got to go down to a more elemental level. There's so much wrong with the federal government and the political winds that push it around and the way people make politically oriented decisions and play party politics. It's just gotten so, broken in a way, I guess. Some of which has to do simply with scale. There's lots of factors, but one is scale. It's just a very big country and a very diverse country, and it's very hard to reach consensus. And as you break it down into smaller elements, you get back to the core of what really, to me, governing is about. And at the town level and in a little town, you really can do things if you do it right. I appreciate what Simon said. So if we have the opportunity here to do it right, and I appreciate what you said that we're in a different class, but partly we're in a different class because we have the economic means. I mean, it's a completely different situation when you don't have any money, but we have a responsibility. We have the money and we have the scale and it's bad on us if we don't do it right. And I've always felt, people say like it's an elitist view, but we are leaders and we're breeding leaders. I mean, we have to. We're the affluent. We're going to be leaders, and our kids are leaders, and you have to show them that. What is leadership? Leadership is not just affluence, right? It's actually getting in and doing it. And, I appreciate all the town has done for me, and given the opportunity to give back is great. And yes, more volunteering is absolutely the core of what keeps Carlisle its fabric. So thank you to all. I appreciate the time.
Thank you both.
Okay,
Yep.
yes, absolutely. And thanks for these great
Parting gifts.
remembrances. Yeah.
All right.
Now are we really?
Well, way behind schedule. That's okay. We built it in.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's hard to move on from that, but we will because we have business to get done. And it's important that we continue to do that, especially in the final meeting of this particular select board. So we are not going to do the appointment for the CPC. That is going to happen on June 9th with our other appointments. So we're going to move to the review of the committee charters, and we're going to start with the Trails Committee charter, and we have a couple of members of the Trail Committee here if we have questions. But long story short, just to put context here, they had requested an adjustment of the membership to ensure, just to redefine the number and the terms. And in doing so, we realized, or we couldn't find the actual charter. So the goal tonight was to review and approve the charter that the Trails Committee needs. So that was included in the packet. I don't know if anyone had any questions or comments they wanted to bring forward.
I just wanted to say I appreciated seeing the minutes from the 1985
Yes, I like that.
elections meeting.
You guys dug
Oh
deep
my
for that
gosh.
one, huh?
And
David
the,
Modell was chair. No.
and some of the names you still recognize, but a bunch of them you don't. But anyway, that's great. And
Yep.
and I thought your charter looked great to me.
Yep, I don't have any comments or questions. Is there anything you want to say about the Trails Committee while you have the floor? And if you do, just say your name and address. And
Steve Tobin, Partridge Lane. I'm the chair of the committee. We've been around for a while. We don't have any regulatory power whatsoever. We are totally a service organization. We try to do what we can for the town. And I think it's probably the most fun committee in town. We have a lot of people like to help us out on the projects. Yeah. So part of the reason for the charter change is we would like to be able to include more people as part of the committee. We don't want to turn anybody away. We recently had 5 openings, 2 voting members and 3 associates, and we had 9 applications come in for those 5 spots. So we want to, make sure we get everybody into the tent.
Yeah.
Also, some of us are getting up in age on the Trails Committee, and we want to make sure
Did
we
you
have.
notice who he
I like
pointed
how he
out?
pointed to
I think like some of us.
And we want to make sure we've got, a bench coming up behind us. We want this work to continue. And that's important.
Yep.
So I did read through the charter. I thought it was great. The 1985 version was also amusing. I also liked that they got through a select board meeting in like 2 hours. Well, no, it was even less. So Alan and Steve, what new trails do you have planned? That was part of the charter. And then what I would be interested in hearing an articulation of what do you see are the biggest issues with our trails?
Oh, sorry. Would you mind just sitting up here so the microphone picks you up a little bit better? Sometimes it does. Sometimes.
Alan, you want to?
Come on up,
Join
Alan.
me?
Yeah.
He was like right
You
as
guys made the trip.
So I don't know that we have new trails that we know about coming up. It's kind of a function of when the town acquires land, we try to supply trails. We're working on the Woodward property right now, trying to get those trails nailed down. That's been kind of a process. So, yeah, I think that's probably about it.
Yeah, it's mostly, we've been looking at doing improvements and repairs. I don't think I said my name, so I'm
Yep.
Alan Ankers. I'm with the Carlisle Trails Committee, Pheasant Hill Lane. We've got a couple of boardwalks planned in the works that we're running through the CONSCOM regulatory process, and we're got an ongoing process on Two Rod Road, which is a multi-year project that we've been doing for a couple of years. We're just doing it a bite at a time. And yeah, as Steve said, new trails are essentially function of opportunity. When something presents itself, we'll try to get a trail in there, but you can't just go around saying, let's put a trail here, because it's probably somebody's land.
Well, just for my part, I'll say, I think the Trails Committee over the years, you know, I've been here since '87, you has done just a fantastic job taking care of our trails, spending so little money, right, just for materials, all volunteer labor. I mean, and then adding some things like the benches that now we're seeing on different nice spots on trails. So just congratulations to all of you going back many years.
Steve, are you the longest serving committee member? 41 years or something?
In town?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Oh, I don't know.
Probably.
How long was in Conscom?
Oh, Sylvia.
Sylvia, how long?
Well, she was
she
an
was
administrator.
part administrator.
Admin, yeah.
Scott Evans was 42,
He's
I
up there
think.
too, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh,
And he
almost
just stepped
caught
down,
up.
so you have a chance.
You have to stay on
Yeah, that's
there.
right. Stick it out another year.
Check it out, yeah.
I did have a question on, does the select board appoint all members of the Trails Committee? I'm trying to find the wording on that. I wasn't,
Well, the voting members and the associate members,
both.
right.
Okay.
We would appoint.
Okay, yeah.
So,
it was
so
maybe-
Yeah, it's under,
the way it's always worked is that
Yeah.
we will, at our meetings, we'll discuss who we'd like to recommend for you to appoint, and we send a recommendation, but it's the select board that makes the official appointments.
Okay.
It's under membership, bullet number 3.
Well, yeah, I saw the bullet.
Following
Okay, so
standard
the
procedures of the
way that
town.
it's written, I just wasn't clear on if this, okay, so it's members to be appointed by the select board for 3-year staggered terms following standard procedures of the town. But I didn't know if that meant to be just the voting members or if it was.
Well, the two items before are full members, associate members, and then this just says members, so
Okay.
I,
Yep, just wanted to
I thought
confirm.
it
That's a
included
good
both.
antecedent, yes, that's true. Okay,
without using too many words.
yes. Yeah.
Does someone wanna
I'd
entertain
like to make a
motion?
motion to accept the charter of the Trails Committee as submitted this evening.
I'll
Second.
second that.
Any further discussion or deliberation? Seeing none, we'll do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
much.
You keep doing what you're
We
doing.
haven't started for all these years.
You've got a
Now
piece
you
of.
exist officially.
Thank you both
I
very
always
much.
feel like maybe we should just leave things alone, though.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Um,
for everything.
And for the reporting of this meeting, if you want to encourage people to check out the Trails Committee and volunteer,
Absolutely.
it's a great way to be involved.
And it's online if you want to see what the trails are.
Yep. Thank you both.
All right, now we have the building committee charters, and the only change to this one, and it wasn't clear in the PDF, but if you look at the Word doc, it's just to the wording under 5 voting members.
Which one are we on, the first, police
All-
and fire? Or-
Yeah, it's the same change to all 3.
Oh, okay.
So the change is for one member, it's, the original language is one member from the Municipal Facilities Committee. The requested change is to one member appointed by the Municipal Facilities Committee. And I believe this is,
But this says 2.
2 members
If
appointed.
you're looking at this
oh, I'm
one?
sorry, yep,
Okay.
okay, yeah.
Okay.
One, yeah, so it's appointed, so what this is requesting is that those seats aren't reserved for actual city municipal facility committee members. It provides them the flexibility to appoint someone. And I think that has to do with specific contributors.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah.
So it's the same change, yeah, the number of members is different.
Differs. It
But
looks like. Yeah.
I think we can do this all in one motion if no one has any objections.
And it's for police, fire, and cemetery?
Police, fire, and, it's just police and
It's just police and
fire.
fire,
I think it's just
right?
police and fire. There are
Police
other
and fire.
things different.
Okay.
Yep,
Cemetery.
cemetery is,
So I move that we accept the revision of the Police Station Building Renovation Committee and the Fire Station Building Renovation Committee charters as presented tonight.
I'll
in the
second
packet.
that.
okay. Any further discussion or deliberation?
So I have a question, like, is the police station building renovation committee even a thing anymore?
Yeah, till completion it will be. I don't think it's going to be completed soon, but
Okay.
it's still active.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's do a
We
voice
need a
vote.
second, I think. Or did
We got a
get one?
second.
Okay.
Let's do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then we have the cemetery committee. I don't necessarily have the context for this one, but I know we went from 5 down to 3, and now they're requesting going back to 5. So I assume there's someone interested, or do we know why this?
Likely a response to interest.
Okay. This one, I did not have a chance to talk to anyone about this change. I'm fine with it. I'm assuming it came from the cemetery committee. Do you have any idea?
Not on top of my head, but yeah, Gretchen put this forward, so this would have come from.
I've spoken with the cemetery committee before, and they did comment that they were looking for more volunteers. Of the 3 that were there, one for various reasons wasn't able to contribute
Right.
fully, and then they did have a problem that when the 2 get together, you already had a quorum, and they just want
Yeah,
to discuss. So maybe
right.
that's what they're trying to do. I don't have confirmation on that from one of them, though.
And the other thing I think maybe they're doing here is,
The rest of the language is unchanged.
improving Carlisle's cemetery grounds and burial operations. So I think, remember, it was originally, we were talking about the green cemetery only.
Yeah.
But I think it's great to make it clear it's for all of the,
But I think that was
Burial
previous
grounds.
language.
Was it already in
Yeah.
there?
The only
Okay.
change I have
Is
in
the number?
is the 3 to 5.
Okay.
And it was originally 5, we put it down to 3, so.
going
I mean,
back to
I'm
5.
fine with it. We're gonna have the appointments coming up, so
Okay.
I guess if it's not, we can change it back, but.
All right, so I move that we accept the cemetery committee revised charter as included in the packet this evening.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion or deliberation? Seeing none, we'll do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, excellent. So we are on to, I believe that's it for that. So we're on to item 3, the FY25 Financial Statement Audit Exit Conference. And I assume we have someone online for this?
Yes,
I see
Scott is
Kelly.
here.
And can you just say your name for the record, please?
Sure. My name is Scott McIntyre. I'm the partner or managing director from CBiz in charge of the audit in Carlisle.
Great, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. Kelly, I see you're on. Should I just begin? Or maybe that should be directed to the chair or?
You can proceed as appropriate, so I'm fine with whatever approach you want to take.
Wonderful. And I put together a very brief PowerPoint presentation. So as I get started, if I need to be given permission to share a screen, if that could take place, it would be wonderful. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Again, Scott McIntyre, the partner in charge of the audit in CBiz. Appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening. Our staff did meet with some of the folks from Carlisle several weeks ago and gave a fairly in-depth overview of the audit process, the financial statements, and our what I'll call our GAGS, or Generally Accepted Government Auditing Standards letter. Tonight I'm going to give a brief summary of that meeting, and certainly if there are questions I can get into a little bit more detail. I'm seeing something come in. Let me try to share my screen here. Okay, I think my PowerPoint is up. Just a quick
Yep.
introductory slide there.
Yep, we see it.
So what I'm going to walk through tonight are what I would call the deliverables. The first deliverable is our opinion on your financial statements. We also issued a governance letter. I'll explain what that is in just a minute. We also issued a report on your internal controls over financial reporting that are required by generally accepted government auditing standards. And we also issued a report on uniform guidance. As a recipient of federal awards, we are required to review your schedule of expenditures of federal awards and test certain programs up to certain thresholds. The page reference numbers that you see here on this slide match the packet that was available online. They are not meant to be the print pages of the various documents. They are meant to coincide with your packet that was available online. Quick minute about the audit process. An audit involves performing procedures to obtain audit evidence about the amounts and the disclosures in your financial statements. We give an opinion on those amounts and the disclosures. However, we do not give an opinion. No opinion is expressed on the effectiveness of the town's internal control. However, we do obtain an understanding of the checks and balances, another way of saying the internal controls that are present in the town, and we perform walkthroughs of transactions and as well as reperform transactions. So the first deliverable that I'll talk about tonight is our governance letter, and after that I have TCWG, and that's just a little bit of an acronym the audit profession uses for those charged with governance. We call it a governance letter because our professional standards require that we report certain information to those charged with governance. And quite honestly, I think the profession has just shortened it. Rather than having a long statement called those charged with governance, we simply refer to it as the governance letter. It outlines our responsibility under generally accepted auditing standards in the United States, as well as auditing standards promulgated by the generally accepted government auditing standards. This letter goes through a lot of the qualitative aspects of the audit. I've listed out some key ones here, and this, I encourage you to review the governance letter in its entirety, but here are some of the key items that are in there. We found the books and records to be in good working order. In other words, key accounts were reconciled on a regular and timely basis. And as a result of those two things, we did not need to propose any significant audit entries as a result of our work. The letter goes on to discuss certain key estimates that are in there, the largest of which deal with your net pension liability and related accounts, and your net OPEB liability and those related accounts. The letter further goes on to say that there were no disagreements between management in Carlisle and our firm in understanding how to apply generally accepted accounting principles. And lastly, this was a new addition to the governance letter a couple of years ago, actually. It deals with independence. We are independent from the town of Carlisle, but we are required to disclose to you that we did perform what we refer to as a non-attest or non-audit service. And that is, we assisted the town in compiling the financial statements from the books and records that are maintained in Town Hall. If CBIZ does 400 audits in New England, I bet you we assist with the preparation of the financial statements in 395 of them. It's really a client service issue that exists here really in the New England region of our country. A quick overview of the financial statements. They include our auditor's report, which are unmodified opinions. Sometimes those are thought of as clean opinions, and it's not incorrect to think of them as clean opinions. Technically, they are just referred to as unmodified opinions. There are no modifications to our opinion, is the way that should be interpreted. And following that is management's discussion and analysis. It's a great resource to go back to at a later point in time to understand why certain key accounts may have changed during the fiscal year. Following that are the actual number pages of your basic financial statements. The current model has it's thought of as a dual perspective financial statement reporting model. There's the government-wide financial statements, which are a long-term perspective, fund financial statements, which are a short-term perspective. Following that are your notes, and in fiscal year, notes to the financial statements and the required supplementary information. In fiscal year 25, for the town, you had the same major funds as the major funds for FY 25 are the same as the prior year, but ARPA, or the rescue plan, which was previously a major fund, dropped off in fiscal year 25, dropped off in majority of our clients the way it dropped off in Carlisle as well. Usually just like to touch base with those charged with governance about some of the new things that are out there. In GASB, or the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, for fiscal year 26 and beyond. GASB 105 is a couple of years away, but for fiscal year 26, GASB 103 and 104 are effective. Really, without enterprise funds in Carlisle, you won't see too many changes with those, but certainly something to be aware of. Now, some of the key financial results in your general fund. the unassigned fund balance, which I often say is the first place that almost all readers of your financial statements will turn. It had a balance at June 30th, 25 of $6.3 million, a decrease of about $1,000. So it stayed essentially the same. The $6.3 million in that unassigned fund balance, just want to point out that it includes about 1.4 million in what was referred to as your general stabilization. You have a capital stabilization. You also have a general stabilization, meaning that the spending constraints on it haven't been assigned yet. So, and the stable operating results, keeping unassigned fund balance of essentially unchanged, that results from but budgetary results of operations, which are on print page 59 of about positive budgetary results of about 1.5 million, less the fact that the town used about 1.4 million in free cash during the year. So really, it's a kind of a wash between positive operating results and the use of free cash, which is essentially what kept your unassigned fund balance unchanged over the prior year. MD&A, that's the management's discussion and analysis. If you were to look back on print page 9, you would really see the trends and the percentages of some of the key numbers that I just pointed out. Also, I just want to point out, as part of your general fund total fund balance, I mentioned earlier, you have a committed fund balance of about $2.4 million. That's for your capital stabilization. That's classified on the face of the balance sheet as committed. In other words, those dollars are committed to capital, where the other dollars, they haven't been committed to a particular expenditure purpose yet. On the long-term financial statements, for the most part, in local governments, it really comes down to pension and OPEB. You are a contributing member of the Middlesex retirement system. That pension system is about 58% funded and currently uses a discount rate of about 7.15. Just would point out to the listeners and the readers that the current funding schedule that's been approved by PERAC, the state oversight agency, shows past service costs being fully funded at June 30 of 2036. Another way of saying that is you keep doing what you're doing for another 10 years, and that pension funding percentage would reach 100%, assuming all the assumptions hold true. OPEB is just an acronym for other post-employment benefits, really referring to retiree health care. You're about 30% funded using a discount rate of just over 6.5%. Collectively, for a town the size of Carlisle, the funding percentages of a combined pension and OPEB are better than most, is the way I would categorize it. I do want to point out that one of the key assumptions in your OPEB valuation is that starting essentially 10 years from now, your contributions are scheduled to increase $700,000 annually. It's a fairly common assumption in the Commonwealth, what you're doing here. And it's not coincidental that this funding assumption starts in 10 years when your pension matures, your pension liability, or at least your past service cost portion of the liability goes away. That a lot of communities are planning to essentially reprogram monies that are part of the retirement system assessment to helping to pay down OPEB with those dollars when the pension liability matures. There are other key assumptions that other than the additional funding that's going to take place starting in 2037. Those key assumptions can be found on notes 16 and 18. And I would also encourage you to look at your required supplementary information. There's a lot of trend information in there. One of the other reports we are required to issue is a report in accordance with generally accepted government auditing standards. This report defines the two terms that you see there. It defines a significant deficiency and a material weakness. Those are two classifications of internal control weaknesses. Very happy to report to the town that we did not identify any material weaknesses in internal control. I often get this question, so I'll go ahead and try to answer it before it comes, and that is, well, did you find any significant deficiencies? The reason we say we did not identify any material weaknesses and not the other one is because our professional standards require us to plan and perform the audit to identify material weaknesses. They do not require that we plan and perform the audit to obtain, to detect all significant deficiencies. So we can say we did not identify any material weaknesses. I will tell you, we didn't identify any significant deficiencies, but I can't tell you that there aren't any. So, my last slide is very simply a catch-all. It's you know, this was a very brief presentation of the overall audit process and the results. I would encourage the board and the listeners to have a complete read of the financial statements in conjunction with this quick presentation. And with that, I'll turn it back to the chair to try to address any questions that the group may have.
And thank you very much. Kelly, did you have anything to add, just in terms of your perspective in the results of this audit, relative to past audits or relative to your perspective?
Yeah, I can say that in comparison to past audits, not last year, but the year before, when CBIZ had actually started our audit after we had transitioned from CLA, we had a management letter. We had several, well, I don't know if several is a great word, but we had a handful of findings, some related to policies and procedures, and really documenting the work that we're doing, and all of that has been cleared up. So we have worked to get all those policies and procedures, as you know, because you have to approve them also, in place to really close down any potential risk of issue in the audit.
David, you were
Yeah.
involved.
Well, I would say, yeah, first of all, congratulations to Kelly and Sandy and Ryan and Aubrey, because they did tackle those outdated procedures a lot like the personnel. I mean, it was things that had just not been updated in a long time, and they inherited a little bit of a mess. There were several changes to the finance director that they inherited and stuff, and they really systematically sifted through, corrected the actual things, right, the actual accounting, but also the policies and procedures are much tighter, so that's good. I would point out two things, I guess. One is, and you'll see it in the report if you really want to go into it, but we generated a lot of free cash. We over budgeted is maybe not the right word, but we were conservative in our budget, and we were conservative in our spending, so we threw off like an extra $1.5 million of free cash, but we also spent it. Right. So it goes back to the same old issue is, yeah, we're pretty good stewards of, budgets and maintaining and generating cash, but we're also using a lot of cash. So we just have to be aware of that. I want to correct one thing that he said. I think we don't have any control over the Middlesex Pension Board. I mean, yeah, it's great. It'll pay off in 10 years or whatever, but that's completely out of our control. They're managing that. The OPEB doesn't look as good, but it's fine because we are paying as you go anyway. We're not actually tapping it at all, right? We're paying all the current population of retirees, all their OPEB-type benefits, we pay out of our budget, and we contribute to the fund for the future. So as long as we keep doing that, we're going to be just fine. So I think, we are good stewards, and all that stuff is humming along pretty well, and the balance sheets are reflective of a improving situation. But, we're going to have a lot of big expenditures, and I think we just have to keep an eye on those metrics as we go forward. But from a control standpoint, it's good, very good.
Any other questions or comments from this committee?
I'll just ask a few. I'm Christine Stevens. I'm still serving my first year as a select board member. Were there any areas that concerns you, even if they didn't rise to the level of a finding?
No, there really weren't. We think we did a really good job of planning this audit. We met with Kelly and Ryan on a couple of occasions. We understood the projects that were going on in town, and really there were no surprises that came up during the process. One of the things that I did mean to touch base on was that during the fiscal year 25, the town, like all local governments in the Commonwealth, did have to implement GASB Statement Number 103, which changed the definition of a compensated absence, sick leave, buyback, and those types of things. And it was we've had some real challenges with it, with getting information from clients, sometimes on a timely basis, and even the implementation of that new accounting standard went very well.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. And just looking ahead then, are there any, what I'll call a yellow flag, something that we should be monitoring or keeping our eye on for the next 1 to 3 years? Kelly mentioned that, we had some findings in the past, but is there anything that we should be looking at going forward?
Well, I did point out those 3 new GASBs that are out there, but
Yeah.
again, they're probably not a heavy lift for the town of Carlisle. It's a much bigger lift if you have enterprise funds. Cybersecurity remains a real big issue in local governments right now. I can't stress that enough. That's I've seen too many times over the course of my career. Obviously, it's just been in the latter part of it where cybersecurity issues have come up. So keep vigilant about that. Keep very vigilant about that.
Thank you for that.
Anything else from this board?
Good.
No, just, again, to echo David's sentiments, I know Kelly and Sandy do an excellent job, and we appreciate all your efforts, past and present and future, to get us to this point. I know a lot of improvements been made, and a lot of the policies that have come across our desk have been a result of your work. So thank you again, and of course, keep us up to date, keep us current, and let's stay ahead of this.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you both.
And Sandy.
Good night.
And we don't need to do anything. It's just to hear the report, correct? We don't need to accept it or do anything like that. Okay. And thank you, David, for participating in that process. All right, let's move on to a discussion of special town meeting. So previously, we've talked about the potential for a special town meeting and identified the dates of October 18th, which is a Sunday, or October 19th, which is a Monday. Part of the reason we wanted to have a brief agenda item on this tonight is to, one, remind people of those potential dates, because with those dates, if you back up in terms of when things need to be ready, bylaws, all that, you're really looking at the beginning of September, which means work needs to be done over the summer, which is historically a difficult time to do that. We also wanted to briefly talk about this coming out of town meeting, just to see where things were at. And I'll just offer my perspective. I'm generally, unless there's a very time-sensitive, urgent need, I'm not necessarily in favor of a fall town meeting. I think coming out of this town meeting, certainly the number of projects were approved to move forward, so I think those won't need a fall town meeting. The ones we know that are out there, and we want to solicit if anyone has anything that they're contemplating for fall town meeting, we need to be aware of that. But right now, the demo review bylaw, I don't believe there was the wetland bylaw, which I'm not sure they're looking at for fall. And then there's the cluster housing, which I heard about, which I don't know if they're, those were the three.
Yeah.
As we sit here tonight, those to me don't warrant a fall town meeting, but we're not looking to make a decision tonight. I don't think there's anything to suggest we would say we definitely want a fall town meeting tonight,
Yeah.
but I think at the future meeting, either the 9th or the 23rd, we need to make a final call. So I would encourage anyone that is contemplating an article to make us known, and we should reach out to our different committees to see if there's anything out there. The other one is the ferns, which may need a town meeting approval depending on how the septic goes.
Right.
We could do what Ryan calls a pop-up town meeting if they need something like that, which is a
Yeah.
smaller scale, kind of one-off,
Yeah.
which I think would be.
So how does that work? You still get a quorum, you have one issue, quickly go through.
Yeah, I think it's you can turn that around. I think it's in 2 weeks. You have to give notice, and you just do a one issue. I think it has the same. I don't know if it has the same quorum requirements. I'm assuming it does, but that would be kind of
It's
a
quick, yeah, it's
It's a
quick.
quick, and it doesn't have all the.
And people want it to get done, so I would say, I just was reviewing over the weekend our draft final report for Town Meeting Study Committee, and you may recall that the Governance Committee had recommended that we institutionalize fall town meeting. The theory being you could stuff all the budgetary stuff in the spring and you can do all the policy stuff in the fall. The consensus from our side and our recommendation, we don't do that because for a couple of reasons, but one I think Wayne articulated. It's the summertime. You know, people aren't really focused on it. And to your point, they're getting back, kids are getting back to school, and all of a sudden, well, what are we going to do? And yeah, if we really have to, and we should do it, we shouldn't not do it just because we don't want 2 meetings. But if you can push it to the right and get everything done, and we've demonstrated, I think, and we continue. You know, my recommendation is we need to continue to push for meeting efficiency. But I'm proud of the fact that we do our research, we tackle some hard issues, and we get through it in, 4 hours. I mean, 4 hours once a year is not too much for people to devote to, analyze. And if you get too much, so I'm with you. I would say, if it's really urgent, then let's do it. But if it's not, then let's try to hold off because the timing is not great. Spring is the best time to have a meeting.
And it's costly.
Going
and
through it
takes
last
a lot
time,
of staff time.
it took, I know for this select board, it took a lot of time. It takes a lot of attention and a lot of agenda time that you
Right, and you could be doing other things.
You can do other things. So not to say you don't do it, but there is an opportunity cost to do it. There is a cost of time and effort
Right.
to do those fall town meetings. And it's a very condensed time frame when you factor in the summer.
Right, so, okay.
And I
Do you
just
have any
second what
thoughts
you
on
were
that?
saying,
I agree with your
Scott,
position,
about,
Charlie.
sorry, go
sorry.
ahead. Well, I was just going to second what,
Yeah.
and I guess, Aubrey, maybe you can help publicize this, and we can have Gretchen send something out to all the committee chairs and maybe the nonprofit groups in town that won't necessarily get a committee chair mailing, right? But to say, select board's making a decision in June about the fall, and so needs to hear back immediately. If you have something significant that you want to bring forward in the fall rather than wait till the spring.
You'd asked my position. I agree with you entirely. Unless there's something pressing, it just introduces everyone needs to get their act together over the summer, and it's expensive, right? It's a lot of expense over something that, if it can't wait until spring, fine. But if it can, let's just do the one per year.
Yeah.
Good with that.
So that's how we're leaning. Let's get the word out. I think there'll be a bit of a burden of proof to have a fall town meeting. So let's, if people have something that they feel needs to be in fall town meeting, please make it known. And I think we would look to make this decision either June 9th or June 23rd, because quite frankly, it has to be made at that point because we're almost there.
Right.
Which is hard to believe. Okay. And then I think that will work well with, that timing would work well if it's coordinated with the report out.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, let's move on to item number 5, which is the intermunicipal agreement with the town of Lincoln for shared building commissioner services. And there he is.
Hey,
Hi,
Coming
good evening,
live.
everyone.
hello, Ryan.
He's got his
It
fatigues
might
on
get
and
loud,
all
so I apologize.
Nope. We hear you loud and clear.
Perfect timing.
Sorry I couldn't be there tonight. Obviously would have enjoyed the celebration of Barney and David, but I know I've said both what I think and the appreciation I have for you. So congratulations on your last meeting.
Thank you.
Well, and thank you for your service and for taking this time out and
Yeah.
be at Fort Drum and do your training.
Yeah, there's a lot of mosquitoes, but it's fine. All right, so tonight I'm talking to you about. Thanks for. Ow. Thanks. Here to talk to you tonight about our regional building commissioner agreement with Lincoln. So this is up for your approval tonight. We've been working with the town of Lincoln to share a familiar name, John Mativier, who used to be our building commissioner. But essentially, this would have us have a 3-year agreement with Lincoln in order to create a sustainable situation for our building commissioner and champion our office. So the reason for entertaining a regional agreement, in addition to it being one of the select board goals, is the idea that building commissioners are really difficult to find right now. We would have to pay more than what we would need to pay and pay higher service delivery in order to hire an independent commissioner. And I mean, rather than paying 30 hours a week, which is approximately what we might need for a commissioner and an inspector, we'd have to pay 35 or 40 hours a week at the going market rate, which would greatly increase our costs. So combining with a town like Lincoln, who is able to share some of their services with us, reduces the long-term costs and locks us into an agreement that I think would be good for the town. So in discussion and negotiation with Lincoln, we came to an agreement that we're putting before you tonight for a $55,000 a year agreement for building commissioner services. This would mostly be remote, but it would give us access to the building commissioner, zoning enforcement decisions, and the agreement does say that anything that needs to be covered in Carlisle would be, with the expectation that it would be about 10 hours a week. If you combine this with our regional agreement that we've already signed with Acton for plumbing services and our current payments for wire inspection and what we would need to add for building inspection, it actually comes in lower than what we've budgeted for FY27. At the high end, it would be $142,000. We budgeted just over $142,000 for FY27, but we do think there's the possibility of savings if we don't need all of the inspection services. And like I said, this does lower the bottom line cost because we would have to pay more than this because we have to provide commissioner services. So although it's not a massive regional savings, it does reset our market and it does reset our service level to what's appropriate to Carlisle.
Great. Thank you, Ryan. Comments from the board?
I think it's great. I got one question. So there's a 6-month trial, and then you decide if you want to continue. Who's the decider? Is that you, Ryan?
So this is for both sides.
Yeah.
Lincoln has a little bit of leverage here in that they already have the services. They're deciding to share their services, something we're, asking of even our own departments, which can be difficult. So it would be a decision between us and them. If neither one is happy with the agreement or it needs to be renegotiated, that's what that 6-month clause is for.
Okay. But it's at the daytime government side at that point, right?
Yes, of course, we would bring that to you, though, for your consideration.
Okay.
And did I hear you say we know the person in the position now?
John
It's
Mativier.
John Mativier.
yeah.
Okay, I
Yes.
thought that's what I heard you say. Great.
There's a benefit there.
What a
obviously.
plus. Yeah. Okay.
So the way I would look at it is because John's so familiar with Carlisle, he'll not only be able to step in immediately and assist us with this, but also identify what needs to be for when he's no longer in the position in the future. So he could not only be a current service, but a bridge to whatever is after this initial 3-year agreement, which I hope is a continued shared agreement, but we would have to talk with that. And, John has said he wants to do 3 more years, so we'd be happy to have him for that.
Great.
Ryan, I did have a question as well, also totally in support of, great idea, not only because, John Mativier is known to us, but, just the cost reduction aspect of it is huge. But similar to David's question, who determines the annual adjustment? It says the cap is 6%. Is it within that range, or is it always going to be 6% every year? Because I got to say, that seems pretty rich if it's 6% each and every year escalation. Did that come through okay?
Yep, sorry, I was muted there. I'm just looking for the exact
It's
provision
on
here.
Section 6.
Yes, so we did negotiate a 6% increase, which, like you said, is high, but that lowered the initial investment. So long-term, rather than pay what they wanted, which was closer to 65,000, we agreed to an adjustment that would allow us to get there over 3 years.
So that was a negotiated inflationary adjustment, which reduced the initial investment of the 55,000.
Correct, and got us under our FY27 projection.
Okay.
So is it, maybe we just renegotiate that 6% after 3 years? That seems,
Probably.
again, that's pretty
You
steep.
don't know. What do you think inflation is going to be in 2 years? Would you bet your house that it won't be 6%?
Well, would we essentially be caught up after the 3 years, and so it probably would return to whatever the.
It's a negotiation.
Got it, yeah, it's a negotiation.
It's got to work
Okay.
for both sides.
Thank you, Ryan,
And
yeah.
The reason why this is fine being public is they have the leverage, so they have
Right.
the employee and the time.
Yeah.
So we are making sure that they can sell it to their community and we can sell it to ours. I think in a successor agreement, the benefits of it would show, and we would be able to negotiate on more even terms.
Got it, okay.
I can literally see the mosquitoes from here over Zoom, and that's not a good
Jeez,
sign.
Yeah, gosh.
They're not good.
Where, are you outside in, oh,
Yeah.
you look like you are. I hope that's not
I hope he's not
inside your
inside.
tent.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a field in
Okay.
Fort Drum.
Oh. De-blur. You can't de-blur the background. They'd probably cut the feed.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't
well-
want you to see what my soldiers are trying to make me laugh doing.
All right, shall I make the motion?
Yeah, if you want to make the motion to
I move to endorse the intermunicipal agreement, IMA, with the town of Lincoln for building commissioner services and authorize the town administrator to review with town council and execute the contract as included in the packet.
Any further discussion or deliberation? Seeing none, we will do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank
Have
you.
a safe and productive rest of your training, and we'll see you back here next week.
Yeah, 2 days. I'll be back in Massachusetts. I am going to drop off the rest of the call, but I'm available. And thank you for accommodating me being remote. And thanks again to David and Barney. And I really do appreciate, I don't think he's there, but Simon coming in and talking.
Yep.
So that
Yeah.
was great.
We did too.
All right.
Yep, that was great. Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for helping out with that.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See, you're all caught up, Scott.
We're ahead of the schedule. This was padded anyway.
Eh.
But now we go into the, I guess a quick question is, the review of the Gleason, is that an administrative thing? I believe it is, isn't it?
I
Yes,
think we had asked, though, to,
Do we want to do that later? I just didn't know if we wanted to get that done right now.
right,
you could. Kelly is available.
maybe that would be nice for her.
Yeah. Kelly, are you here for that one?
I am.
We're going to go ahead and chair's discretion. I'm going to move item 8 up to now, 8:10, so that we can get that done before we get into personnel policies and code of conduct policies. So let's move on to item 8, which is a review of the Gleason Public Library renovation project financing and donation acceptance. So if you just want to give us some context, Kelly, and what you're looking for from the select board.
Sure. So I guess the primary goal for this agenda item was to get the select board's acceptance for the endowment funds that are now being turned over to the town for the library project. The total amount of donations, well, there's 2 chunks of money that the endowment had voted to put toward the project, and then they also collected over $800,000 in donations toward the library project. So the total is $989,000, $682 that we would be depositing into the town accounts, held in a separate gift account specific for this project. So that becomes one of the funding sources for the project overall.
Right.
So I guess that's the primary goal of the agenda item. It kind of morphed into also a brief information session on what funding sources are available for the project. So if you'd like to go into that, I can dive a little deeper.
Yeah.
Sure. And I know at the high level, we have CPC funding, this, and then, yeah, if you just want to give us a quick overview. I know we have
Sure.
discussed this a little bit leading up to town meeting.
Yeah, would it be possible to share my screen? I can pull up just the summary I have here.
No problem. Let me make you a co-host real quick.
Thanks.
I know, it was a long way. 190 in the packet, the packet numbers.
190. That's because there's endless
the-
personnel policies.
Well, and we also had the
and
audit.
municipal and
Audit.
audit and-
Yeah.
You should be all set if you try.
There it is.
What page is it on?
190.
190.
Okay, you see what I see?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So this should also be in the packet. It probably arrived late to you today, but the funding sources from highest to lowest in some respects are CPA funds, totaling $1.2 million. I split those out in the little table there, mainly because they have two different grant agreements associated with them with some slightly different parameters on how they can be spent. So I wanted that to be isolated. The endowment funds, as I mentioned, those are the donations that we're asking you to accept this evening. There's also the borrowing authorization out there for the library fan coils that was approved at a prior town meeting. They have trust funds. The Malone and Hollis Trust Fund are two sources of funding that they have been utilizing for like the architectural fees and those types of things that have already started. The Mass Development Grant. This is a grant that we're receiving in a couple of phases. So the first phase is already in our account, and it's already been partially spent as well. And then MFC funds. So MFC over a couple of town meeting cycles has allocated certain portions of their free cash allocation to help with this library project, with the mechanical room, with the fan coils. So that's all inclusive of what's been officially approved and known. So I understand there may be some other grant opportunities that might be out there that they're still exploring. I can't really speak to that. That's a better question for the library. But the idea is that once the donation is accepted, it becomes tracked in a separate account, similar to these other accounts. Everything you see in this list is in a separate account, so it really makes this project a little more exciting on the accounting end. So this is kind of the baseline of where we're at right now.
And Kelly, does it fall on you and Sandy as like the invoices come in to make sure the correct thing is being paid out of the correct account? Because I know all these different funds have different restrictions on what they can be used for, so we have to be careful about that.
Yes, we definitely have to be careful. So Martha and I have been working pretty closely. We have a couple of worksheets going, simultaneously to make sure that her and I are on the same page with how things are flowing and what order. Similarly, working with CPC, with Barney right now, but the future of CPC, there'll be someone else to hold our hand through this. But for what's eligible for CPA, because I expect we may start getting invoices when it's time to utilize the CPA funds, and there may be 3 line items that are CPA eligible and the rest may not be. So making sure that we are using a magnifying glass on a lot of this as it comes through.
Does the OPM help at all with this or no?
Not on that part.
No.
On that part?
I wouldn't trust them even if they offered it. I'm serious. No, you need somebody with Kelly's brain to keep it.
Yeah. And the other question I had is with this being accepted tonight and those funds being available, are they ready to execute the agreement with the selected?
That is the question. Yeah, I mean, is that 3.5 million? Is that where it's coming in?
Is this thing ready to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
For the actual construction contract?
Yeah. Do you know?
Oh, well,
That may be a Martha and Orion question, because they have been given the authority to, execute the contract. I know on behalf of the trustees. I believe they've delegated that to Martha and Ryan to be able to do that, but I don't know for sure where that stands.
But this would be the last thing we have to accept, correct? All these other funds are available. All these other
Correct.
buckets are ready to go.
Yeah, these funds are all available. They are still there were a number of grants, as Kelly mentioned,
Yeah.
that the project had to be literally shovel ready before you could submit your
Right.
application. And then Kelly, to your question, or in response to Scott's question, I don't feel like, I think that it's a matter of just working it through with Martha, I guess. Yeah, the order in which things are gonna be spent. The bids came in at 1.6, 1.7, but that's only for the renovation, right?
Right.
There's still furniture, it doesn't include the fan coil.
Well, that's why they have to sort out each category.
Right, and
it
there's a
comes
lot
at
of
different times.
contingency, just given the age of the building, foundation's not super secure, a lot of things can go left.
Right.
Anyway, yes.
Yeah.
So, is the endowment the donations that people gave? What is
Yes.
the endowment? Okay.
That's correct.
And
Yeah, the
and where
majority
has that
of
been
that are the
collected now? Up
donations.
till now.
We have I shouldn't say we, trustee for 7 years, kind
Yeah.
of assume that identity. There are 4 endowment funds, and then there are also, yes, so when people would make a donation,
Yep.
and it's not to the Friends, it would be to the library. And
The Friends are not contributing?
it is probably their donation is captured under one of these.
Okay.
Items.
So, since we just came off this audit, and even though it wasn't actually this audit, it's other audits where we look at, but it's reported in this package, how we invest our money. It's a Kelly, I should know this, but as we collect these funds, and maybe CPA is the same too, like, are they managed under our general investment policy? Like, where does CPA money get invested while it's sitting around waiting to be deployed? Who does that?
So CPA is partially held, Bartholomew is
Okay.
our investment company. It's partially held in Bartholomew, partially held in our, general fund, which is, I think primarily money market accounts.
Right.
But Bartholomew follows the same
Right.
logistics as our other trust funds.
The
Okay.
library trust funds are invested with Grimes and Company.
Okay. So as you move towards, as you said, shovel ready, did the investment advisors move things more to, say, the money fund side, so it's ready at the amount you need, or?
Yeah, it's something we monitor. Right now, the balance is pretty safe with what's active project-wise.
Right.
But Sandy and I review that at least probably quarterly, twice a year to make sure that there's no risk there.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
So this will be exciting for you.
You thought ARPA was maybe required a lot. Well, now that ARPA's,
That was one bucket, just a lot of
Right,
projects. Now you have
right.
one project
I
and a lot
know.
of buckets.
yeah.
I know there will come a day when we have a Carlisle project that has less than 3 funding sources. There has to be. We're very creative, and the work gets done, but it's always interesting seeing it at this level.
And then you layer on grants that require you be shovel ready to apply for them on a different time frame. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you again to the trustees and everyone who's done work on this, and for your continued work on this. As I said earlier in the evening, so much goes into getting these projects to this point and to keep these things going. So much thanks to the staff and the volunteers.
Thank you.
All right, so
All
does
right,
someone
I
make a
will-
motion?
Sure, I'll move to accept the $989,682 gift from the Gleason Public Library Endowment for the Gleason Public Library renovation project, and establish a Gleason Public Library renovation gift account under the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, as requested by the endowment to support the library's renovation plans.
Second.
Second that.
Any further discussion or deliberation? Seeing none, we'll do a voice vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Great. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you. Thanks for moving me up.
All right, appreciate it. All right, let's move on to item number 6, personnel policies. And I think, Aubrey, you can walk us through that.
Absolutely.
I know there's a lot of text.
Yes.
And maybe just start at the high level of what we're looking at here tonight.
Absolutely. So, what this version shows are all the policies that the select board has approved, going all the way back to the military leave policy that we did probably 2 years ago at this point. And this adds all those changes in, and then it was submitted for review to legal counsel. And so they just edited any of those changes that made more sense. They did do some typo changes for other parts, but we made sure that there was nothing that was substantiate, makes a huge change. So no additional policy change beyond what was already approved. So do you want to just kind of go through?
I'm not sure how to, it's so much text.
There's a lot of text.
And also, since we've already gone through all of these and
Yes.
approved them, and
And
it
these
went
are-
to legal, and they've approved the substance with a few, minor language changes, I would think we could
Yeah, I mean, again, with policies, we can always,
them, and they could be-
if we,
right, go
something
back
comes
and
up, we can
revise them.
always,
So there was some, it looked like marked text. It was very faint.
the
Is that-
PDF is not showing the
Yeah, the
track
PDF did
changes.
not track, when.
The Word doc in the folder is
Yeah, the
better.
packet one,
see,
the
okay.
OneDrive gives
She's
more.
got up.
But
Yeah.
we
So-
reviewed these, you already reviewed all this with us before, right?
Absolutely, and then, some of these are just, removing the personnel board, right, because that doesn't exist anymore.
And on the revision list, it said, I think it said the last time these were revised was 2021. So all the stuff we've been talking about, nothing's been actually, we've kind of said
Exactly.
we've informally approved it. But I feel like we've approved a lot of stuff,
Officially put it into the
Yeah.
personnel policy.
but it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
So it had not yet been incorporated, is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Officially.
So this is just incorporating everything that has
I
been.
feel like we voted on some stuff.
We did.
We did.
All
We
of them.
voted on
Lots
all of these
policies.
changes.
chunks
All the
here and there.
policies.
They
along the
weren't,
way.
it never got into the manual?
Anything since 2021 has not.
All that stuff we were doing never got, so like
That's
the
what this
new
says.
hire of like last month would get a manual from 2021?
Correct.
Wow.
So that's why this is the next version.
Very important.
That's why we are presenting to have it approved tonight, so then it'll be effective of May
Right.
26, 2026. And I would just have to, accept all the changes, make that new
Right.
version, make sure the numbering's correct, the page numbers. And then I don't think there's anything that would make any immediate
So
change.
from a practice standpoint, we shouldn't do that anymore. Like, shouldn't there be just rev changes? And do they need to be voted? I guess they do. We shouldn't be waiting years to make changes, to accumulate all these changes, right?
So
Change
this-
one-off policies going forward. I mean, because there are a few policies that are,
Yeah, I feel like.
we have to
yeah.
revisit.
Sure.
Didn't we change some things in the Kate Reed era? Like you and Kate worked pretty closely together on a whole pile of things.
Well, there
We
are
didn't
other.
change any personnel policies during this.
Changed
So
a lot.
She was part of,
Changed benefits.
Policies and
Yeah.
stuff.
she was an active part, from my understanding, of the 2021 revisions.
Right.
Okay.
With her.
Okay. So we did do
One
that.
of the things is that, we can just continue to just, every time there's a policy change, have a different revision approved. and
But
just
does it
continue
require
to
a
add to
select
this
board
list.
vote? Every time you change a comma, you gotta come back if you wanna.
Well, I mean, we typically, I know in other things, we approve and make an allowance for legal, non-substantive.
Well, that, maybe not a comma, but let's say the drug policy needs to add a new drug that we don't know of today, that has to get in there for something, and that would, you incorporate language, and you come back to select board if you wanted to make a substantive
This is the
rev.
revision that is approved
Yeah.
by the Carlisle Select Board, so that's why I'm bringing.
No, I mean, I'm asking more like, I think we're gonna approve it tonight, and you'll get cleaned up, but
Yeah.
I don't wanna wait 5 years for the next rev, right?
No,
Like,
and that's the plan, is that this was a big overhaul of making sure a lot of policies were
Yeah.
cleaned up, but the goal is an annual basis have
Okay,
this
all right.
review. So then they can be an annual revision, absolutely, and I think that even in these conversations, I think there's already conversations of what that next revision will also include. But
Okay.
this right now will make it so it's clearer for the finance team, it's clearer, and, making sure there's
Yep.
policies in place that can help employees now.
All right, good.
So, and then high-level question, if you go to the table of contents.
Sure.
If you go from whatever, 1 all the way down to 40-3. I know in our discussions, there's still a few policies that we kind of tabled or said, we're not gonna change, or we needs more consideration. But for the most part, 1 through 40, are there any major sections that you would still consider like out of date, or would be a focus next year, or does this kind of cover, aside from the few policies we talked about? Do you feel like this revision, we're kind of caught up, and now it's those annual kind of smaller revisions? Or
Yes, it would be annual smaller revisions.
so there's
that
no
we-
big buckets where like, yeah, next year we really got to tackle like sections
There's
25
nothing that's
through
super
30.
glaring. I think it's just making sure everything's as modernized as possible, but I think that, the biggest thing was just making sure that these policies that have been approved are now in this revision. It's clear going forward. It makes it just clear for all the things that staff need to make sure we can implement any policies, especially when it comes to time off, certain leave that we talked about and everything.
And if Ryan were here, I would, just confirm with him that he's obviously supports and is familiar with all these changes.
Yes, absolutely.
So
I
I
think one of the
assume that, but
things, one of the topics will be, supplying a space for, breastfeeding and all those things. But I think that will be part of that bigger conversation we're already having.
And I know there were other, there were
that was
policies that
table
we
for
didn't,
now.
we didn't change, but we recognize we may have to revisit.
So I think
But those are fine.
absolutely, starting this summer, we'll be just starting the conversation again.
Okay.
So Aubrey, just operationally speaking, when an employee starts working for the town and, they get their, supposed copy of the town personnel policies and then they get updated, they know they should be beholden to whatever the current policy is that's posted online, correct?
Yes, and we actually have everybody acknowledge annually they have read the personnel policies.
I see, okay.
So, and there'll be a push out when this.
Oh, absolutely. Once there's a push out, I'll be sending it to everybody, making sure across the town is aware of the changes, identifying the changes for folks.
Are you planning an information session for your employees?
I can, yeah, that's a great idea, just to make sure they're all clear.
Yeah, I think, putting
That'd be a
together a
good idea,
presentation of
yeah.
the kind of key
Just-
substantive changes.
And
Offering
a lot
it
of
in-
it too, it's been a lot of conversations over the last year or so with these same folks, so they have actively been part of these conversations. Such as with the DPW overtime, they were paying attention, they followed up and we changed that, right? So,
And they're familiar with the decisions that we made, as David said,
Exactly.
we kind of approved a lot of stuff.
Yes.
right.
And I'm assuming it's not a black
So
box, these are all public.
I've been asked a lot of questions of when will this take effect, when
Okay.
will this take effect? So this is a great opportunity to just say, all right, it's all in effect as of the 26th, just to make it clear for everybody.
And part of the delay, I know, we were looking to get this done earlier, combination of agenda time and then the legal review took.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but
But to your point, yeah, we should be doing this more.
5 years is a long time.
More piecemeal
I
than.
mean, we had a lot of it ready and we didn't roll it out. And we're lucky that we didn't need
Oh, and
it,
it's-
but, when you need it, you want to be able to,
Yeah, so
you want to be
that's,
able to refer to it when you need it.
now that we have my position as well in place, and now we can
Yes.
make this just part of the annual,
Right.
There's only like 5 revisions in 23 years. It's like,
Well, I'm looking at the social media and stuff. I mean, that's stuff that's pretty relevant.
Yeah.
but yeah,
It's
this
probably changed quite a bit in 5 years,
should be
so.
updated annually, like just.
Well, also from the
I mean, just in-
training standpoint, like,
Right.
you point out in the policies, like, you're subject to open meeting, like, everything you do is subject to open meeting, kind of, so, to some people, or public record, I shouldn't say open meeting, public record.
I will say we're ahead of a lot of towns, right?
I'm sure you are, but,
Messing off hard
right.
copies that are
Yeah.
barely legible, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to put a lot of credit to everybody who
Right.
put this together beforehand too, so that it was a lot easier to build off of this rather than having to start from something.
And I noticed the 9-year gap from 2012. to
Right.
2021, like, it was.
Yeah, and
Aubrey-
Aubrey, you've done a great job just getting this all pulled together and getting those policies in front of us and getting us to this point, so
Yeah.
great work.
When we heard from the auditor, he said his number one biggest recommendation is to keep on top of cybersecurity. Is there any part of our policy that deals with employees and cybersecurity? I didn't actually catch that.
Top of my head, I don't think so, but I think that's a good thing to update, that's not part of it, right? Because
year.
absolutely, that is a very, very
Well,
high.
I notice, I mean, in your email section, you're discouraging the use of personal email for town business, which I agree.
Sure, yeah.
But then the flip side is, do you have two-factor and all that stuff? You must have that in there, right, for town emails? So you get on the town website?
Yes, on top of my head, so we've been updating what that looks like, but you can't get on the network without two-factor. They are implementing more and more protective systems.
I mean, you're going to a new IT provider anyway, right?
Right.
And so hopefully they'll pay more attention, but, yeah.
But I
Exactly.
think to that point, like making sure, whatever the appropriate policy is, like, don't leave your password on a sticky on.
Well,
your-
again, we're sort of, there's a gray area between personnel policies.
Yeah, I don't know where
and
that line
IT,
is.
well,
Right.
just think about it though, because we run in same in like my business. So you have a handbook, as this does, lay out how you handle email, how you handle social media, be careful, town business is separate and personal, blah, blah, blah. And then the IT side has all this other stuff where you
Yeah.
need to step back. And somehow there is a section, probably in both, but particularly in the personnel manual, because that's where they go, that probably gets a little more technical when you start getting into cyber. Like, you must not leave your, password. You don't write your password down. Don't leave your screen, like leave a lock function. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things now. And since I come from the government security side and we're going through these ginormous audits now, like, it's very top of mind. Like, there's so many controls out there that you can put in.
I think that's a great idea to tie in all the training we are having everybody do on an annual basis, including the cybersecurity training.
Right. And a lot of it's common sense, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, one thing, just because we're going through it now, are people using their personal phones for town business when they're not in town, or are they only using?
Depends on who it is, right?
Yeah.
I do, Ryan does,
Okay.
but only if that's necessary.
Okay, I mean, restricting it, because one of the features we have now is a wipe like, if your phone gets lost and you are one of those people, there's software that goes in, it'll only wipe the town business. It won't wipe your personal business.
Okay.
But it can go in there no matter who has the phone and go, and it's gone or locked.
Incredible.
It's pretty cool.
Okay. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, lots can go wrong, but
But, yeah, you
that's
gotta
why you
know
do these things.
what's out there and, yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
do you want to
Shall I
make a
move
motion,
this?
Barney?
One of my last motions.
Come on, keep moving
I
on.
move that the select board approve the personnel policies as presented this evening in the packet with an effective date of May 26th, 2026.
Second.
And is that the appropriate effective date? We didn't discuss it. Does that work?
Yep.
Okay.
That's when it was approved.
I'd add an editorial comment that with formatting changes and as Aubrey pointed out, there may be some numbering changes. You say as presented, but
Okay.
so maybe amend that.
Maybe I should say, move to approve the personnel policies as presented with an effective date of May 26, 2026, and approve any minor formatting or grammatical changes as necessary.
Second.
Any further discussion or deliberation? Seeing none, we'll do a voice vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There you go. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a lot of,
Awesome.
lot of work.
I know I'm not going to be on the board, but I do want to mention that we have talked off and on about the paid parental leave. And that's something that when we had the conversation a couple of months ago, we said that's one that should be on the agenda, over the next year to try to figure out.
Yes,
So,
definitely. Thank you.
You're always, as long as you're in Carlisle, you're welcome to make public comments.
that's right. I'm here probably till September.
Okay.
So, thank you. That's right. You'll see me on the
As
other
soon as you
side
move,
of
though,
the
forget it.
table.
No one will be
That's
You
right.
will not be recognized
No.
once you're in Concord.
I'll have to sit right at town meeting and be in the non-voting section.
We'll have to vet your residency requirements.
Right.
All right, we're moving on to
Okay,
item number
well done.
7, the Code of Conduct.
Right.
And Christina,
And
do you
I
have,
think also Gretchen wasn't
Okay.
she gonna? Yeah, there's
I'm
Gretchen.
here.
Hi,
but
Gretchen.
hi Gretchen.
Hi.
And I will,
Hello.
Christina, if you have a comment you want to make, if you want to make that at the outset.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I actually have two brief comments. And they're both in section A that was discussed last meeting.
Yep.
One is on bullet number 3, the personal and business were eliminated.
Right.
However, I think the personal benefit, there can be personal benefit without being financial benefit. I'll give an example. I want to stress this is purely hypothetical, but for instance, somebody who is on a committee who can determine the use of a town-owned parcel, which could benefit that individual, regarding, say, convenience or how they want to use that parcel, but may not, but it might impede another use which would be more beneficial for the town as a whole. And so I think personal is different than financial and perhaps should be included.
Bullets, yeah.
The third bullet. Yeah, and I know in our discussion on that, there,
Where it says code of conduct.
we said not to Bennett personally. Our comment was, well, we all kind of benefit personally from
Yeah, I see it.
from serving. So I think I understand. I mean, I certainly understand the point you're making. I think we removed those words because they were so broadly defined that it was encompassing.
Well, it's
things.
clear. It's clear you shouldn't benefit financially, and
Yeah.
so there are a lot of controls on that. And we did. I mean, I was having that discussion with Travis whenever it seems like a meeting or two ago. It wasn't
Yeah.
very long ago.
It's the last meeting.
So, I mean, for example, the example I gave Christina was, I, in my own company, we run a training session that has to do with social emotional intelligence, and we have an outside trainer. And in discussions with Aubrey and Ryan, I felt they might benefit from that, and in order to make it more affordable for the town, and also because I thought it would be an interesting interchange between my employees and the town employees, we invited town people who wanted to get that training to come to my workplace, and we had 4 training sessions, and it was pretty good. People liked it. And I benefited, and my company benefited. We didn't benefit financially. In fact, possibly we helped the town financially, but we certainly didn't benefit. But did I benefit professionally from that interchange? Yeah, sure I did. So, it's very difficult to write it in such a way you wouldn't get tangled up in your underwear. And
Understood. It's not the professional, it's the personal.
Well, that could be personal, though. It gets so blurry, and so the question is, what problem are you trying to solve? Because
And I also think what sits on top, this is a policy. What sits on top of all of this is ethics and conflict of interest statutes, which is law. And so if I'm benefiting from the use of a land, and it's, it's like a lot of that would be covered through conflict of interest. Like I'm not allowed to.
what happens, Christina, if you through your town service, you meet people in town, other people in town, and you later end up doing some business with them? Did you benefit from that because you volunteered and they volunteered and that's how you met?
Yeah.
It's a very slippery slope. So we really have to rely on the character of the people who volunteer, not to, take advantage, I think.
And this is a
Yeah,
policy
my
that-
approach was more from somebody getting onto a committee to influence an outcome of something that benefits them personally, that as opposed to something that might be, going against something that might benefit the town as
Let's
a whole.
say you own a piece of agricultural land, and because you got so concerned with the way the land stewardship committee is handling, those matters, you got involved, and as a result of getting involved, you decided to join that committee, and you volunteered and you were accepted, and you have a passion for a certain point of view, and you're bringing that point of view to the committee, and that happens to maybe benefit you personally. But the reason you got involved in the committee is you got passionately involved. I mean, where do you draw that line?
I get it.
No, and
Okay.
I think, and I just for context, I mean, this is a policy that we're requesting but not requiring people to sign, and this isn't law. There is clear conflict of interest in ethics law that people have to adhere to. This is really, again, a policy to just set an expectation, and I think on this one it was very broadly defined. We weren't comfortable with the limits of the words personally and professionally. Financially was one where we felt comfortable saying, yes, you should not be doing that. So it's not to say we don't acknowledge there could be issues there, but I think for terms of this policy, we just wanted to keep that bullet pretty strictly defined to financial benefit.
Okay, I get it.
Yep.
And then the second one is a bullet that was eliminated also in section A.
Yep.
And I'm like completely paraphrasing now because I didn't capture the language that was eliminated, but the need to obtain all information before making a decision. And this can be important because, again, there could be one predetermined outcome, but it may not be the best outcome for the town as a whole. But if all the work is just on this one predetermined outcome without factoring in or at least considering other options, it could be not necessarily the best thing for the town.
Was that in
Are you-
section, I think that was in a different
It's
section.
in the B
Was it in a
section, I
different
think.
It was
1, 2.
repeated. We got rid of one of them
Yeah.
and combined in section B, bullet
4.
4.
Yeah.
You combined those ideas with refrain from making statements or promises as to how you will vote on matters that will come before the public body until you've had an opportunity to hear the pros and cons of the issue in a public meeting.
Right.
Okay.
Does
Yeah.
that cover it, Christina?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I
Was there-
remember, I do remember that discussion, and
I do too.
I think a lot of our edits were to kind of condense and consolidate
Yep.
some repeating language and
Yeah.
what was some unrealistic language of like, how can you, okay, thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Oh, no, well, thank you. I appreciate the feedback.
Reading, right? Somebody's reading.
Yeah.
Nice to know somebody's reading the policies.
But, so we had gone through, and Gretchen, remind me, I think we had stopped it just prior to section 6 or 4.
Yes, you had gotten through everything until enforcement. What I want to do very quickly is go over what Donna approved of the questions, right? So
Okay.
she was totally fine getting rid of the repetitiveness. So we don't need to repeat that the anti-harassment, sexual harassment, and workplace violence prevention policies that you just approved apply to everyone.
Okay.
It's in one place, and the comply as fully as possible with all town policies and applicable laws is now just one bullet listing all of the things.
That's in section A,
That is in section A,
Yep.
the last bullet there.
comply as fully as possible. Yep, okay.
Yeah.
And then we list all the 2, 4, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we list them all. So we list the town policies followed by the applicable Massachusetts general laws, and this is, of course, including without limitation. So if there are other Massachusetts general laws or other policies that might apply in a rarer situation for whatever reason, those laws would still apply. And then we're fine in section B, C, and D. In part 4, in distribution and education, I changed this language to get to what you determined regarding the code of conduct and volunteer applications, as notice of this code of conduct shall be included in the town's volunteer application form. The form shall include a field for applicants to certify that they have read and understood the content. Then, the summary of all of this is that then it goes to you. You would appoint or not appoint based on their application generally. It would go to the town clerk. When they get sworn in with the town clerk, they would then be asked to sign a statement that they have read the policy and will comply with the policy. If they choose not to sign, you are alerted. But at that point, as discussed, you have no recourse for unappointing them in most cases. But that is what I believe you have asked for, so that is what is there now. And then we move on to the enforcement section.
Before we-
Anything on those before we
Before
move
you get there.
Yeah, let's stick on section 4.
Yeah.
So I have a shall and will question. My understanding is if you're doing something, you will, right? So the clerk will note and the clerk will alert the appointing authority, whereas the appointed official shall be asked to sign, I guess, or something. I mean, did you do the shells and wills with Ms. Brewer?
Donna, yeah.
Yes, they typically say shall.
They typically
matter
say
what.
shall.
Let's do
Like
it.
you shall
And
do
may.
something means that you are going
So when
to
did
do
you use
it.
will then?
If it's, you
You
don't.
don't?
Well, there's some wills in here too, so, okay. Okay, I don't know.
Shall means
Yeah,
will.
Yeah, there's a difference, but I've never
Donna
remembered
corrected
it,
some
so.
of them, so I assume that Donna was right.
Okay, all right.
And just a minor grammatical thing, but I think that last sentence in 4, that the final phrase, that fact shall be noted by the town clerk on the form. And I think you should say, and the town clerk shall alert? Why did we
Yeah.
say alert rather than notify the appointing authority?
Right.
You can use whatever language you would like. So
Okay.
shall be noted by the town clerk on the form, and
And,
the
And
town
the
clerk
town-
shall notify
Yeah.
the appointing authority.
sure.
Shall notify the appointing authority.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's right.
When I first read 4, and again, maybe this doesn't matter from a legal standpoint, but the form shall include a field for applicants to certify that they have read and understood the content. I read that as they need to certify that they've done that.
Well,
It's just a field that you,
they will be asked, I mean, I like the word, will, but
Checkbox.
they will be
That's all I
asked to
have to
sign the form. They don't have to sign it.
oh, I know.
They'll be, but you must be asked, like, it's not an oversight.
I want people to certify, but my only thing is when I first read it, the form shall include a field to certify, or I guess it's to certify or not certify. Well, I guess it's fine.
Well, they have to sign a statement.
Well, they're just,
The intention is for
It's just a field that you check or don't
I
check.
am the active one in the shell there, right? Like I need to create a form that has the field. The
Right.
field shall be there,
right,
And they
It
shall
will,
be asked to.
it will be there.
yeah.
right? Like
Okay.
it's not that, yeah. Like it's going to be a checkbox button,
Right.
that people should check off, saying that they have read this thing the same way you check off
Yeah.
the terms of
And it-
literally everything and never read it.
And it covers it at the end where you say, in the event that any member declines to
Mm-hmm.
sign the form, that fact, sign the form. But is that different than signing a form? Is that different than certifying that they've read and understood?
Yes.
Okay.
So you at your last meeting,
Yeah.
I got the impression that you wanted to separate those two things.
Right.
Yep.
That
Okay.
you want to make sure they've
So
read
like
it.
one of them is like, hey, by the way, you're gonna be asked to sign
Oh,
this
okay.
when you get sworn in.
Okay.
This is the document that you're going to be asked to sign.
I'm slow, but I'm catching up. So the first
Yeah.
sentence is really, we're asking people to at least read it and understand it. Then they
Yes.
can decide whether they want to sign it. But we want everyone to at least read it.
Yes, that's
Okay,
why it's
gotcha.
notice of the code of conduct shall the
I'm-
notice and the check off that like, hey, I told you about this. You
Yep.
can't say that you were surprised.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
So
intermixing.
if they decline to sign that they've read it,
They indicate they've read it.
but if they don't, then you stop their applications incomplete, right? They don't have to sign that they'll comply.
Right.
But they do have to sign that they
Should
read
read
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
If they haven't read it,
Yes.
they should not be allowed to continue. That's a
would-
DQ, right?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's important. You should at least read
Yeah,
the
you should read it.
expectation.
Yeah.
It's not that long. Or at least check the box that you read.
Of course, like you do on your, like you do on everything on the internet, right?
I just, sorry, I can't find the original copy where I did some yellow highlighting, so now I'm looking at the red line copy. But, sorry, but I wanted to go back to D, conduct in relation to town staff. So it says, the third bullet, never attempt to resolve conflict by publicly criticizing an individual employee or a department outside of a public meeting. So that's trying to say
grammar.
publicly, so publicly
You can berate him in a
hold on a
public
second.
place.
Publicly criticizing outside of a public meeting means like you write a letter to the mosquito or you, I'm not sure what,
Or like make a Facebook Live video.
make the what?
Facebook Live video.
Oh, okay.
Or go on City in the
Or
Woods.
Department outside, oh, right, okay. Never attempt to resolve it, blah, blah, blah. But then it says, and conforming with all applicable laws. It feels like there's some phrase in there
There's
that's
some
missing.
grammar, there's a grammar issue.
Yeah, I think something got messy in there.
Never attempted.
In the live edit.
Yeah.
Well, no, that
Or
one
maybe
wasn't.
that's just a Maya one.
Or maybe
might
you
just
just
be a
leave
Maya
out.
That
and
one wasn't
conforming
edited. Yeah.
with all
Yeah,
applicable
I don't
laws.
think you
Maybe
need
it
that.
somehow was a cut and paste thing that happened. I don't know.
But it was in the pre-marked anyway. It
Yeah.
should probably come out.
Yeah. You mean?
Don't criticize him, but then it's okay to yell at him in a public meeting, I guess so, right?
Well, because you have somewhere
Yeah,
else.
I mean, it has to be.
Somewhere else there is stuff about that you,
You have to be
Right, the-
decorum, I guess, right? You should do it.
or is that in the personnel? I can't remember. That it can be brought to a public meeting. It has to be shared at a public meeting with the relevant committee, I guess. Is that in the personnel policies or is that in the? I can't remember.
Well, that
So
doesn't apply to volunteers, though.
Isn't there something about?
Well,
being-
this is about
being
relation to
courteous
town
and-
staff.
Yeah.
It's the town staff protection.
So just to clarify on that one, we're striking the words
We're
and
striking-
conforming with all applicable laws? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Three members probably with respect.
Um,
But I guess
Through private
if
communication.
you go back to B says, treat all members of the public body to which you belong with respect. So that's the public body, but shouldn't you also treat everybody else with respect? So in other words,
It's separated again, David, under conduct in relation to town staff. It's the first bullet.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah.
But, okay, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, okay, right, okay.
I
thank you.
mean, I think it's the spirit of the,
Yeah.
Yep, okay, got it.
all right. So, I'm sorry, did you have additional?
No, that was it.
So are we okay with section 4?
I'm okay with it, yeah.
Is
'Cause
that
I know-
is that D? No, D?
Section,
No.
no, section 4.
No,
is
section
Sorry,
4.
okay,
Town
distribution,
clerk,
yes.
the forms and all that.
Yes, yes.
So let's move on to section 5, which we have yet
Yes.
to discuss. And I know Travis had a couple of comments that he provided me to relay.
You have the mark, is there much markup?
There's no
So,
markup, because we didn't.
it's-
Because we didn't
State
get to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Most of this is changed based on like Carlisle processes and what council requested or suggested or said, hey, that's legal.
Okay.
So most of these changes are either that like we have a process that is in our policies, like in our personnel policies or whichever policies. So like the answer is to follow the process that's already described rather than make up a new one.
Yep.
Also, none of you liked the phrase disinterested outside firm. So
Yeah.
we have switched it to independent third party because you were all like, that feels weird. And it was like, okay. And then everything else
this was it.
is from Donna, really. Especially the like that a public body or public official is not permitted to conduct an investigation. An investigation can only be done by like the independent third party or at the direction of the town administrator. Like you as an individual can't go conduct an investigation on your own. That's illegal.
Yeah.
Are we
So
on the first
I
paragraph only, or-
have the red and blue one,
No,
which is not coming through on the PDF.
The red and blue one,
Yeah, the one where you can actually
is that in the Word doc in the folder?
yes.
Okay,
But there was no markup, you said, because we hadn't marked it yet.
hold on.
No, the markup remained in section 5 because you didn't change it yet.
Right, so there's no markup yet, right?
Right.
So-
No red line.
So what we're, yeah, no, well,
Thank you, Aubrey.
No problem.
Can we?
There. I'm working on
she's
it.
gonna show it, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I see it now.
Ah, so where
Yeah.
did that come? We did
Oh,
get
when,
that far?
when did that? Yeah. When did we do that?
I guess
You
we
didn't do
started
this.
it.
Yeah.
We didn't do this.
That-
Oh,
that
this
my
is
point.
from town council and you.
Yeah, so this
Okay,
is from
great.
the individual conversations with you.
Oh, gotcha. Right.
Except
Oh, I
except
see.
David and
Yeah,
Scott
yeah.
who told me they didn't care.
Yeah.
Not that we didn't.
And then
I didn't say I didn't care, please. I said I deferred to the wisdom of the rest.
I
because
provided
didn't have
comments
time.
originally, I didn't.
But, so paragraph, I guess it's 2 of this, has to do when you violate these very specific bad things, there's a process.
Yes.
That's paragraph 2. But any other thing, like you did what we said, you did a YouTube, what did you call that, or the
Yeah.
Facebook, something
post,
or other, you
yeah.
did something like that, you default now to paragraph 3, right? Like something.
well, it depends on the conduct, not the form of the conduct. Does that make sense?
No.
So, David, if John Doe,
Yeah,
an elected official,
yeah.
decided to make a threat to a town staff person or to
Yeah.
another elected official
Yeah,
on the like on a Facebook Live,
yeah.
on TikTok, whatever, that is still a threat. It doesn't matter that it came through in a video
Right,
versus
but isn't
like
that,
a
that's
message
more
over
like
city
workplace
limits.
violence, right? Doesn't that go into?
Correct. So
I'm not talking
then
about those bad
that
things.
policy would apply.
Yeah, I'm talking about the more mild stuff, because the
Yeah.
third paragraph, any other provision of this code of conduct.
So-and-so isn't treating a staff member with
Yeah,
respect. and-
right. Yelled at her in the market.
Or
market
just like
basket.
straight up, like within a board, like the board, rather
Yeah.
than actually discussing an issue, started fighting and like insulting one another, right? Like that's also a code
Right.
of conduct problem if you're
Right.
if
So
you're
is the
insulting one
appointing
another
authority
and
the-
shouting.
But if one of the committees under us did something, it would come up to us, right? That's appointing authority.
Yes.
But
Yes,
if we yell at each other, what happens then?
goes to the state.
Um,
You're against Simon
no,
Cataldo.
no, it goes to the voters.
and,
The voters can
Senator
decide
Barrett.
that
Yeah, okay.
you're being childish
Okay.
and
But,
could.
but most of the stuff happens and comes to us, and then if we decide,
Mm-hmm.
we would go
Right.
to the town administrator and decide what to do. Okay, I mean, it makes
So
sense.
yeah, the language under both sections is almost identical. It's just that there's more like there's a slightly stronger language in this first paragraph.
Right, you
or
have
not,
to do
I
it.
guess
In
second
the,
paragraph.
in the,
Right, you can't ignore,
the new one.
Yeah.
The one in
right,
front of
you
us.
can't ignore the bad stuff.
Yes.
You have to,
Yeah.
you have to act.
Yeah.
Right.
The other one, you can decide
Yes.
if you want to act. So I
Yeah.
agree with that. I would just say, in
Right.
paragraph 2, overuse of the semicolon, I think there should be commas. In the first sentence.
I will double check with council and our English majors. I would agree with you, but I didn't write most of that. So,
Okay.
One
Wait.
also just suggestion, Ray, a word to add, and maybe it's not necessary, but in the fourth line of that second paragraph, it says, the TA shall follow the process described in the applicable town policy. Should we be putting in the word personnel policy? Because all that's in now.
so it's specifically those policies, and your fraud, waste, and abuse policy isn't a personnel policy; it's a separate policy.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
like the first three are wrapped into the personnel policies, but the fraud, waste, and
Got
abuse
it.
policy is
Okay.
separate because that applies to
Yes.
everybody as well.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah. Looks fine to
Looks
me.
good to me, right.
Okay.
I have 2 comments.
And we're good with the third paragraph?
I have 2 comments / questions from Travis that I want to make sure are discussed. He said he writes, he had a comment to the second paragraph of section 5 where it says, if any elected or appointed official is accused of violating ... And he asked the question of protections against false accusations. There don't seem to be any mechanisms in the section for an appeal, no standards for what an accusation is. I don't know that there's a way to do that. I mean, anyone can.
So that's built in
Okay.
to the process described in the policy that is being referenced, right? So if this is also the case if somebody fills out one of our complaint forms online,
Right.
it is investigated.
Mm-hmm.
Through the investigation, it is determined, is this legitimate or not? And
Right.
then we move down the flow chart, right?
Right.
So that is the solve for that. The solve for that is just because you investigate something doesn't mean that there is like an immediate result of that investigation the way that the complainant would like.
Okay.
But
it
you
also-
could go that way, and then there's also an appeal process in those sub-policies?
In some of them, yeah. And that's also like why this allows for an independent third party to do it, so that it's not just on the town administrator.
Right, but that's.
to
I mean,
arbitrate
that's-
all of those things.
That's partially an answer, but an independent third party would presumably not bring a bias because they don't know the people. But they may still, in the eyes of the defendant, incorrectly reach a conclusion that there was a violation and there should be an appeal process. And you're saying there is some mechanism.
There are
aggrieved
mechanisms,
party
but
to-
it depends what the conduct is.
That's probably outside of this.
Yeah.
So like
particular
that is
policy.
definitely
Responding
outside
to
of the realm
Travis.
of
No,
this
but I-
policy.
Yeah.
And it at that point
Again,
goes
we're talking
to
about volunteer.
council and our insurance
Yeah.
company.
I mean, anybody can sue anybody over anything, right?
Right.
Correct.
Then you don't have to be elected, appointed, nothing. You could be walking down the street. So, okay.
And then
But
his,
What else is
his comment was specific to,
that was one comment,
Yeah.
was
because I wondered.
protection against false accusations.
Yeah, so maybe it doesn't get, maybe it's not, shouldn't be in here, but then you have so if it's made publicly, the false accusation, then it's out there, right? And so there's no, but maybe that would be a select board decision or committee decision, right, to say, okay, we're gonna send a letter to the Mosquito or post something to say
Yeah, I
this
mean,
was a false act, just for the, the
Yeah.
person's reputation,
I
kind
mean,
of.
if it, so, I mean, the main one is like a violence or a sexual harassment. If an employee came forward and said, that person groped me, we have to act. You
Oh,
can't ignore it.
absolutely, yeah.
But if, after interviewing the people, some third party, I mean, we would if it was me and I'm on select board, and it's serious, I'm gonna go to a professional.
No, but
So
my
that-
point was
right.
different, which is, let's say a staff person
Yeah.
says that happened, but they come to a public meeting and make that.
No, right, I
complaint.
hadn't gotten finished yet, but
Oh,
what
okay.
I'm saying
We
is.
had an example of
The,
that
the
recently.
independent third
yeah.
party, if it's serious, and we have to act per this.
Right.
And we should, it doesn't say it, but we should hire like a pro who knows
Yes,
how to do
knows
that.
this field.
Interview everybody.
Yeah.
If at the end of all that, that professional opinion is, there was a misunderstanding, he slipped, I don't know,
There's
whatever.
no merit,
There's
yeah.
no there, yes, then I mean, we should, as a good
That-
practice, say,
So some.
we did an investigation, so-and-so was publicly called out, and it
Yeah.
turned out not to be, or at least in the eyes of the independent third party.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
okay.
that would be.
But that would just sort of be, I guess,
Yeah.
situation specific.
Yeah,
right?
and then you just,
Okay.
you say, sometimes if
Yep.
someone comes into a public meeting and says it, then you should just say, well, thank you for that input, we will investigate, and,
Yes.
I mean, you can't,
Yeah, you can't ignore it if they make a public
No,
statement,
right.
but you can determine, hopefully quickly, if there's reason to do a full-blown investigation.
His other comment was, and I think I know the answer to this one, but I want to raise it anyway. The concept of is the enforcement section. I'm sorry, is that? Yep, section 5, language where the TA, at the TA's discretion, share or not share the findings. And he just, I think Travis was fine if the intention was. That it allowed for the TA, if in their investigation they realized it was nothing or could be handled in a non-public way, it gives them that ability to not.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the intent. It's not to require the TA to report publicly everything, because then it,
Right.
so he just wanted to clarify that the intention was, it allows for not everything to be put on quote, trial for an accusation. And I think that's
Yeah.
what, that's my understanding of
Yes.
why that language is there.
Yeah, I would say that's right.
And we just have to make,
Right.
could a TA theoretically abuse that power? Yeah, but then that's incumbent on.
Yeah,
the
it's more like, I
Yeah.
think, back to Barney's point, that if an accusation was made publicly, and it's a serious accusation, I think we do have to have closure publicly.
Right.
You can't just say, you can't be silent.
Right.
You can say,
Yes,
an
but I think
investigation was
in most
conducted, there was
cases-
no finding, and leave it at that, unless
Right.
somebody wants to keep prying, but you can't just say.
Not
We need to
ever
be
come back
responsive.
and publicly.
So anything in the paragraph 2
Yep.
stuff, in the paragraph 3 stuff, if we determined that that was just two people yelling at each other in the hallway, we might say, fine, just, you guys cut it out, like, don't yell at anybody.
Right.
Be respectful. Okay.
Okay, I'm good.
I'm good.
Any other comments? And so are we ready to, so we made a couple of edits tonight that are reflected in the version on the screen, correct?
Well, I don't know about screen, but I
Correct.
know.
I'm scrolling up to
I
the top
trust
just to
Gretchen to do it.
scroll
Yes.
slowly back down.
So we
all
can,
the way through.
I think the idea is we can approve the code of conduct as amended.
Yep.
Yep. All right, I move that we approve the code of conduct as amended tonight.
Second.
Any further discussion or deliberation?
Can you give me an effective date, please?
Oh.
5/26/26?
Yeah, effective May 26, 2026.
Boom. Okay. So it's seconded. Any further discussion or deliberation? Seeing none, we will do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right,
Wow.
look at that, man.
Big one.
Excellent.
Now, there's no TA report tonight, correct?
There's not.
Okay.
He gave it, mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, item 9, review of warrants and minutes. We have 2 minutes. Yes, the minutes from May 12th and the minutes from May 18th was just prior to town meeting. That was a very brief meeting. Folks have any comments or edits to those? If not, does someone want to make a motion to approve those minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from May 12th and May 18th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion or deliberation? Seeing none, we will do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, there's a
What?
typo. I haven't read them. Nimlek is misspelled in
It should be Nemlek, correct?
Nemlek. Yeah.
Okay.
Gretchen, are you still there?
No. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yes,
there.
she is.
Yes.
We'll get Nemlek,
Nemlek is N-E-M.
or we'll request that they
East.
change their name to
N-E.
comply with our minutes,
AC, yeah?
right?
New England something, I don't know.
New England.
Page 1 of 10 of the minutes. The,
Okay.
Nemlek. N-E-M.
David finding the typos to the end.
Well, I didn't read it. I was just scrolling. May 12th. Okay.
All right.
That's my last official.
Liaison reports.
I've got a quick one.
Yes, please.
Okay. So the town meeting passed the amenities building, the CPA recommendation to fund the amenities building for CCHS. Concord had already done so. So thank you, Gretchen and Kelly. They have, because we had to write a totally different kind of CPA grant agreement from the usual one. So just to inform you that the draft, we had a phone discussion with the superintendent and the finance head and the select board chair in Concord, maybe 10 days ago. And so now we've got a draft that is going to them, went to them today, thanks to Gretchen. And hopefully, my goal is to get that signed before I'm not on the, don't have the authority. But if necessary, somebody else will sign it. So that, just wanted to let you know that. And then the other is, because I will report back, I'll report back no matter what. The Recreation Commission is having a meeting tomorrow night specifically to discuss the CPA approved grant agreement for the renovation or restoration of the Spalding Field baseball field. And I won't go into the details, but that was approved at town meeting, not this year, but a year and a half ago. And it's not actually begun because of a number of issues that I won't go into, but the Recreation Commission is meeting tomorrow night to decide among several options, and depending on what they decide, we may or may not go ahead with that grant agreement. So just to let you know, and I will pass that back on to everybody after the meeting tomorrow night, and let the rest of the CPC rep from RecCom will be at the meeting tomorrow night, and the CPC rep from the Historic Commission will be in the meeting tomorrow night too.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you going to join CPA as at large?
No.
You're going.
Well,
You're out of town.
hopefully I'm out of town by September. Besides, you're voting on Karen at the first June meeting to be the member at large.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
She's already in the wings. Okay,
All right.
that's it.
Anything else? All right.
No.
Okay, let's do last check for community input. Seeing none, we'll move to adjournment. And before we adjourn, I'd like to request that you both take your nameplates with you tonight.
No.
Oh, the plate as well?
You get the
Gretchen
plate.
said
Not the
we
plate,
could not
not the
take the
plate.
holder.
Can
We
they
could
take the
only-
holder or
Oh,
just the
come
plate?
on,
They can
Gretchen.
take their
No,
name.
I'm
the
just,
holder.
I'm just
I don't need the
kidding.
name.
I'm just kidding.
I'll take the holder.
It's real gold.
You
might
want the
wanna take
holder
it.
and not the, oh, no.
No, I don't want the holder.
Yeah. No, I'm teasing you.
don't-
Gretchen had written us, right, that we could take just the nameplate.
All right,
Thank
so
you. Thank you,
Well,
Scott.
Gretchen, thank
Barney-
you for all your work.
Yes, thank you, Gretchen.
You write excellent minutes, I have to say.
And codes of
Oh,
conduct.
I'm gonna miss you guys.
Barney, do you want to take us out with a motion to adjourn?
Oh, sure. Let's adjourn.
David, you want to second that?
Second.
All in favor? Voice vote?
Aye.
All right.
Where's Rocky?
Play the Rocky music.
Really? Play Rocky.
What's his exit music?
Right.
I don't know, let's see, I don't know, do I have
Great.
it anymore? No.
I still
Thank
have
you
it
all.
here.
I have it.
Yeah,
You
music.
can shut it down.
End meeting for all. Goodbye.
Okay.